Hi everyone, Chris here from Chris Gauntlet Myotherapy, and the topic of today's video is quadricep stretches. So this follows on from our last video where we looked at the hamstrings around the back, quads around the front. It's important to know how to stretch both the antagonist and the agonist muscle groups, so the opposing muscle groups. Okay, technique one. We're going to start off on the mat, and what we're going to do is put one leg out, sort of bend about 90 degrees to start with, and you're just going to tuck the other leg behind here, making sure that when you tuck this leg behind, that you don't have the toes pointing out, because it's going to put pressure on your knee, okay? Making sure the toes are tucked under. Then I bring my other leg in, sole of the foot towards my knee. And for many people, just leaning back with the palms supporting you will be enough to get a stretch through the quads here. You can also rotate your hips and pelvis posteriorly, okay, to get more of a stretch through the quads. If you want a little bit more stretch, then you can slowly lower yourself down onto the elbow of the supporting hand. So what I'm doing here is I'm pressing my knee forwards at a diagonal angle in towards the floorboards. I'm rotating my hips back, because remember, like the hamstrings, the quads cross two joints. They cross the knee, and one of them crosses the hip joint as well. So it's important that you get both joints under control in order to effect a good stretch. Okay, technique number two. We're going to do this one in a kneeling position. Again, I'm going to stretch the quads on my left leg. So I'm going to bring the other leg forward, making sure my hips are square. I start with my weight over the knee of the leg I'm going to stretch, and I begin by rolling my hips backwards in this direction here. Okay, once I've engaged, then I'm slowly going to shift my weight forward, okay, till I get a stretch running down the front of the quads here. And then if I want to change the angle, I can just move my ankle around a little bit from one side to the other, and I'll start to hit the outer and inner quads. We've covered this bench, quad and hamstring stretch in the hamstring video, but I'll go through it again for the quad video, but then also add in a variation. So we looked at bringing one leg up into a hamstring stretch. You start with a knee bend, tuck your other toe up on the bench behind you. And again, I'm just pressing my knee down towards the ground, toes back, pressing my heel out towards the wall in front of me, staying nice and tall, and then depending on which one I want to emphasize more, I can either bring in more hamstring or lean back to get more quad. The beauty of this stretch is it leaves you nowhere to hide, okay? Because if I slacken off on the quad, it increases the hamstring and vice versa. Now, sometimes getting into this position, if you're a bit inflexible, can be a bit of a challenge. So the way you go into that at an intermediate level is you come forwards to the edge of the bench, and I just let my knee bend hanging off it, and then it'll be easier to get this other leg up behind here. And then you can progress to moving into the simultaneous quad and hamstring stretch as well. But remember, for this position here, I want to tilt my pelvis under, because remember, the quads a two-joint muscle.